Magnum packing patriots, can you dig it? You watching the Tap Rack Bang Show. I'm Ryan Frasor, riding shotgun with me, as always, is the tactical tackle himself, Tyler Witzke. Tyler, you Stone Cold Fox, what up?
A little fired up today.
I'm a little pissed, but I'm also a little stoked.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later, because right now, we got to invite all of our viewers out there to be a pro-gun bully today. So, if you want to pull Joe Biden's chair out from under him when he's sitting down and make him fall down and call him a nerd, go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and smash the bejesus out of that Liberty Bell to sound the alarm of freedom every time a Tap Rack Bang Show drops.
Yep, and don't forget to visit all the links down in the description. Help out the show, help out the National Association for Gun Rights. Also, check out our foundation where you can give a tax-deductible donation to help out gun owners in the courts and whatnot. And don't forget to use code TRB10 when you visit gunrightsgear.com and order some pretty cool swag, just like this shirt here.
What does TRB10 do?
It gets you 10% off.
Can I put in TRB 1,000?
No, that doesn't work. Sorry.
Damn it. All right, well, 10's pretty dope.
Yeah, 10% off your order when you order some cool swag at gunrightsgear.com.
Outstanding. And if you do want to get it for 100% off for this Hell No Joe t-shirt, you've come to the right place because it's time for some t-shirt time.
It's t-shirt time!
That's right. This is the segment on the show where we ask you some gun-related trivia questions, and the first person to answer correctly in the YouTube's comments wins a dope-ass NAGR t-shirt. This week we're still giving away some more Hell No Joe NAGR t-shirts.
Hell yeah. Who was last week's winner?
Last week's winner was Mr. Kenneth Hummel.
Kenneth Hummel.
Kenneth Hummel was the first to identify Witzke's dong on his AK rifle, which identified it as hailing from Romania.
Correct.
So, good dong identification, Kenneth. I hope, you must be very proud.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, Kenneth, you won yourself a shirt, so we'll reach out to you and get one sent off. This week, I want to ask our viewers, the Magnum Packin' Patriots, the pro-gun bullies, all you fine people out there, whose name was on the original patent for the first firearm silencer. It's a silencer on the patent, not a suppressor. So I like calling it a silencer. It sounds cooler. What do you call it?
I call it a suppressor just because I'm not one of those silencer/suppressor Nazis. The people in the keyboard warriors that oh, it's a suppressor, not a silencer. And actually, I don't. You look at the patent and it says silencer, but I don't know. It suppresses the noise. It doesn't silence it.
Truth, but silencer sounds cooler. Gun muffler sounds fun.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, which is kind of what it really is. But at any rate, we've gotten carried away. So answer our question, whose name is on the patent for the first firearm silencer in the YouTube comments. Win yourself a dope-ass shirt, and I'm done. Moving on to some... We'll start with good news.
Yeah.
We're glass half full kind of folks around here on the Tap Rack Bang Show. And since we last seen you, we've added 2... not one, but 2 constitutional carry states, bringing us to 23. 23 states have liberated gun owners from the tyranny of being forced to pay the government for their rights that are God-given to obtain bogus permission slips to carry their firearms concealed or open. What are those 2 states, Tylers?
It'd be Alabama, which Governor Kay Ivey signed last Friday.
Alabama.
Yeah, and then it was late Monday, Mike DeWine of Ohio signed their constitutional carry bill into law. And we're also looking forward to maybe Indiana or Georgia here soon.
Indiana's close. It's on to the governor.
Right. So
any day now.
Yeah.
Georgia's close. Nebraska's in play.
Yeah.
Very much so. They're weirdos over there in corn country, not Iowa, but other corn country. But let me tell you, Kay Ivey there in Alabama was a gangster about it. As soon as it got out of the legislature, that day she was signing the bill, Mike DeWine was kind of playing games with us.
Yeah, it took him 9 days.
Took him 9 days out of the 10-day window that he had, but whatever. He signed our bill. He made us sweat it a little bit, which I'm still kind of bitter about, but It is what it is. 2 new states. That's 2 for the year. Last year we got 5, and It would be pretty spectacular to match that.
Agreed. And you know, it was pretty banner year for us last year, and I think we did the math on it now with these 2 new constitutional carry states, and half the population of the United States lives in a constitutional carry state now.
That's wild, and we're at 23 now. It'd be nice to end the year at least with 25. That just has a nice round number to it, but obviously we wouldn't say no to 26 or
exactly.
50. 50 would be dope.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
So,
well, moving on, that's obviously the constitutional carry victories are spectacular and tremendous news, and we're stoked. But we also had some troubling news on the federal side of the House, which is usually how it goes. Our winning streak of defeating every last legislative gun bill during the Biden administration has sadly come to a close, and we're bringing back to the show the King of the Hill, Hunter King, to tell us what the hell went down with this VAWA fight that's been going on for years. Folks, it is my pleasure to welcome back to the show the Director of Federal Affairs for the National Association for Gun Rights, the King of the Hill himself, Mr. Hunter King. Hunter, welcome back to the show.
How we doing, boys? How you guys doing?
We're doing good down here. How you doing up there in occupied D.C., up there by Fort Pelosi?
I'm making it work. Sounds like you guys are quite the hit in the social media spheres nowadays, though. Tap Rack Bang's really taking off, eh?
Yeah, we're kind of a big deal. People know us.
Yeah.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks, though. So Sleepy Joe Biden finally got his greasy mitts on a gun control bill, and we're all a little pissed off. Why don't you give our folks the rundown of what actually happened with this omnibus sneak attack?
Okay. I'll start from the beginning and try to keep it as short as possible here. But the Violence Against Women's Act was enacted in 1994 when then Senator Biden was obviously in the Senate. He introduced the bill, got passed into law. Let's fast forward to 2013, when the last time it was reauthorized. In the 2013 piece of legislation, there was no gun provisions in it. There was no gun provisions in the bill from 1994 until 2018. Violence Against Women's Act was never intended to be a bill about guns. It was never intended to be a gun bill. So let's fast forward now to 2018, when we saw the Violence Against Women's Act reauthorization come out of the House. And I believe at that time it was a Sheila Jackson Lee bill, but I could be mistaken. That was when we first started lobbying against the legislation. So that passed the House in 18, got sent over to the Senate. Senator Ernst, Joni Ernst, I'll use her name because she's a name you're going to need to know, from Iowa, was tasked with redrafting or editing, whatever you want to call it, that bill that was sent over from the House so they could introduce it into the Senate in hopes of getting a Violence Against Women's Act reauthorized. That bill was littered with gun control provisions when it came over from the House. There was red flag provisions in there. There was a expansion of the misdemeanor gun ban, and there was also nix denial language in it. We lobbied pretty hard against that bill in 2019, because me and Witzke went to Iowa and actually dropped off some literature to some of our friends there. We were able to stop that particular process in 2019 from ever moving forward from that bill. We actually never saw text on a bill from the Senate in 19. Obviously didn't see any committee time. It didn't see any floor time. It never got to the president's desk. We were able to halt it after it passed the House. So now let's fast forward to 2021. When we got word probably about 6 months ago from Ernst's office that they were doing the same thing again. The House had passed the VAWA Reauthorization Act, got sent over to the Senate. 2021, Joni Ernst is tasked with drafting the Senate version of VAWA again. So that bill comes over from the House probably, almost a year ago now. It sits in the Senate for a while. They're redrafting. It had your red flag provisions in it. It had your Nix Denial Notification Act language in it. And it had your misdemeanor expansion gun ban in there as well. We got a call from a Senate office probably mid-December saying we've finalized text and we're introducing. What they did within the bill was they removed the boyfriend loophole language and they removed the red flag language, but they kept in the Nix Denial Notification Act, which is language meant to prosecute failed background checks, which we know 95% of failed background checks are false positives, and it's actually not a criminal offense to fail a background check. But they'd like to open the door to prosecution on all of those failed background checks. So they introduced the bill with that language. They start whipping co-sponsors probably 2-3 weeks ago now. We got the bill to a better point, but we're not in the business of taking shitty bills and making them less shitty. That's not what we do. That's not what we're here for. So they took a shitty bill, made it less shitty, and they were going to introduce it in the Senate. The intel we got was they were going to introduce it in the Senate actually sometime around now or sometime next week. For a standalone vote in the Senate, you need 60 votes in the Senate. As the bill stood, it had 11 Republican co-sponsors. You assume you're 50 on the Democrat party line. You're looking at 61 votes. So they're right there. They're right at that 60 threshold mark. We might have an opportunity to pluck one of those votes off and stop the legislation again. Probably on Tuesday, I think it was a Tuesday of last week at 2:00 a.m., we received omnitext. Now, an omnibus is a spending bill that has to be moved through the House, moved to the Senate, and the president has to sign it for the government to stay funded. When we talk about government shutdowns, that's because we either didn't pass our appropriations bills, we didn't pass a continuing resolution, or we didn't pass an omnibus. So we have to fund the government somehow. An omnibus is a vehicle to do that. It's a big bill, it's a big spending bill, and it's gotten us in trouble before. So about 2 a.m. last Tuesday, we got word that they were going to take the Violence Against Women's Act bill in the Senate with the Nixon Denial Notification Act in it and just insert it into the omnibus on the House side. Because they don't want to deal with the politics. They don't want to bring it to the floor. They don't want a standalone vote. They don't want their members being messaged, opposed against, like we would do, and we still are going to do if they went down and took a gun control vote. So they said, screw that. We'll just throw it in the omnibus. We have to pass the omnibus. Like the omnibus, we have to fund the government. The government can't shut down, which it could shut down. If Republicans had a spine, we could shut it down and force their hand a little bit. But God forbid we do that. So they throw it into the omnibus. We get text at 2 a.m., 2,800 pages of text, and they say we're voting on this later today. There's a 72-hour rule in the House, but apparently Pelosi's House, we don't abide by the rules anymore. So we had about 12, 14 hours to sift through the bill and decide what we were going to do with it. From our vantage point, it wasn't that hard. We were able to find the Nixon Denial Notification Act language on, I think, by page 2,400 or whatever. So that was in the bill. We knew it was in the bill. We did everything we could in the House to oppose it. They have the numbers in the House. They passed it through the House. It went to the Senate. We were asking for a robust amendment process over there. Didn't get one. We got 3 Republican amendments. None of them passed. Senate passed the legislation with 18 Republican senators voting in the affirmative. So from our vantage point, that's 18 senators voting for gun control on the Senate floor. That bill now goes to President Biden's desk, and he will sign into law. So kind of to wrap all of this up, at a time when you have a Democrat administration who can't buy a win, can't do anything right outside of our issue, just basically anything right, can't get a win. You had Joni Ernst, senator from Iowa, Lisa Murkowski, senator from Alaska, and Mitch McConnell, minority leader, senator from Kentucky, all working behind the scenes to get the Violence Against Women's Act language containing Nixon Denial Notification Act into a House Omni to provide cover for all their friends in the Senate that don't want to take the Violence Against Women's Act vote. And they pass the Omni in the House and say, well, we had no choice. We had to pass the Omni. It's a spending bill. You did have a choice. We did have some Republicans on the House side that stand up for what's right. Obviously, our allies, our group of members, our cohorts on the House side and also on the Senate side did vote against the legislation because that is allowed. You can vote no. It was unfortunate that we didn't have the numbers to stop the bill, but we got backdoored hard, and it was because of the Republican senators on the Senate side.
Yeah, that's absolutely, and it's extremely frustrating, and there's definitely no excuse for any Republican senator or representative for voting for this nonsense. They could blame it on the 2,000-page bill text, but it's their job to know what's in the bills that they're voting for. We're going to throw up on the screen a crawl with every Republican who betrayed gun owners by voting for this nonsense. If you're represented by one of these surrender monkeys, go ahead and give them a call and blow your stack to all our viewers out there. They deserve it. They want cover for this vote, and they're not going to find any of it here. As I say a lot of times on this show, if they want sympathy, they can find it in the dictionary between shit and syphilis.
Yeah, and the thing that gets me is that they know if they use the Nixon denial as a standalone bill or obviously they put it in the VAWA. They know that it will not pass because we can mobilize against it, that kind of thing. And now they're just sneaking shit into a omnibus bill that, every Republican feels inclined to vote for so the government doesn't shut down. But, it really is a vote for gun control.
Yeah, and now Biden, after, a year and a couple months, can finally go to his handlers in the gun control lobby and show them that he gave them some gun control that they've been demanding all this time, and he has his first victory, which is really frustrating.
It is, and they snuck it through extremely fast, bypassed the House rules, as Hunter was saying, but it just goes to show, like, these gun control pushes are going to come, really fast, and that's why, Hunter, you're reading bill text like every second of your day just to make sure there's no gun control included in any other bills. And it's just really frustrating, but you just need to be alert.
Yeah. Well, and there's no excuse because I know as soon as we got bill text, Hunter was sounding the alarm to members and senators too. Yeah. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I was actually going to make a point of that. Just because the bill is 2,800 pages long doesn't mean these members and these senators didn't know what was in it. I know from our standpoint, we make sure members and senators know exactly what's in the bill. We don't have to sift through all 2,800 pages because it's not pertaining to us. Right. But all the other outside groups do that, the life groups, and you name it. Everybody knows their language, their bills, and these members and these senators know damn well what's in the bill. Everybody was alerted a.m. that morning, next denial, VAWA is in the omnibus. Yep. Again, you had your champions say, yeah, no, we got it, going to be a no vote from us, but you had, I think, your 38 Republicans in the House and your 18 Republicans in the Senate that chose to vote for it. And make no mistake about it, when these backdoor plays, however you want to call them, happen, it's usually not the Democrats pushing it. I mean, if the Democrats wanted to push this, they could have, but they needed sign-off from Murkowski, they needed sign-off from Ernst, they needed sign-off from McConnell in order to put that language into a House omni.
Right.
Yep.
Can we just talk about how stupid of a name Violence Against Women Act is?
Yeah, we got to start changing the bill names because the Democrats are going to keep naming these bills as messaging props. And obviously, I've heard members say to me, well, that's a hard vote to vote against the Violence Against Women's Act via the title. Yeah, okay, I understand that. But we got to stop letting Democrats name these bills things that they're not. Because the Violence Against Women's Act, this bill does nothing to protect women, does nothing to protect Second Amendment rights. It does right. A lot more harm than it does good. And we're not the only group that thinks that. Mm-hmm. And it was actually pretty funny. Yesterday, we were in a Senate side meeting, and a senior level advisor, probably the most senior level advisor in Mitch McConnell's office, was almost boasting about the process and having it passed while not going to the Senate floor and not letting us have an amendment debate about it. He was almost, actually, I think he was probably happy that that's how the process played out.
Wow.
They wipe their hands clean. They get their legislation passed. Everybody goes home. Ernst isn't up for election for another 4 years. People forget about it, which is now going to be our job to not let our members forget about your Ernsts, your Murkowskis, your McConnells, whoever the hell is over there in the Senate making these types of plays. Come election season, we have to remind our members, this is what happened back in 2022. They did this because they're not up for re-election. If this was a re-election year like it was back in 2019, I believe, I don't think this would have went down the way it went down. But they don't have re-election for another 4 years. Ernst, she's done with it. And they even said it to us. We want to wipe our hands clean of this. We want it done with. We want it off our plates. Yep. Well, okay, you got one of two options then. You actually don't do anything with it. You let the bill sit there and die because none of our people want it.
Yep.
No conservative actually wants the bill. Or you make a shittier bill less shitty and you pass it. Those are your two options. They choose to go to the latter of those two, and I'm not surprised. It's happened before. We got to stop it from happening in the future, though.
Amen, brother. So I think everyone on the Hill knows that National Association for Gun Rights was fighting VAWA over the past couple of years harder and louder than any other gun group. From your perspective, what was the mainstream gun lobby up to during this whole VAWA fight?
So the mainstream gun lobby, after the boyfriend loophole and red flag text provisions were removed from the bill, they were then moved. They were opposing those provisions in the bill. Once those were removed and you were just left with the Next Denial Notification Act, NRA moved to a neutral. and they had planned on staying neutral throughout this process with Nick's denial in the bill.
So NRA neutral on Nick's denials, often whom are false denials being turned into fugitives overnight.
Potential prosecution. Yeah. Yep.
Outstanding. There it is right there. Well, listen, man, I'm sure you're frustrated as all get out about this garbage legislation being signed into law by Sleepy Joe Biden. You've been taking the lead on this fight for, what, 2-3 years now?
At least. Yeah.
Something like that. And
a little over 3. I think Witzke, we went in summer of 19.
Yep.
And the fight had started in spring of 19, I think.
Yeah, so you've been after this for a while, but I truly believe, and I want our members to know, that if it wasn't for your hard work and your diligence every time this stupid bill popped up, that we might be sitting here watching Joe Biden sign the the Violence Against Women Act with red flags still intact, with, they call it the boyfriend loophole, I call it the bad breakup gun ban, still intact. And we just want to say thank you for all your hard work on this. Obviously, it didn't go the way we ultimately wanted, but we pushed it back for years, and we cleaned out a lot of the most horrendous provisions from it, and that's big thanks to you.
Yeah, I mean, you were staring at an expansion of a misdemeanor gun ban, and you were staring at a national red flag law. If the original language had passed the House and the Senate and gone to Joe Biden's desk, we got 2 of the 3 provisions out. It's not good enough by any means. By any means, don't let me say that that's good enough. We wanted more. I don't know if we could have done any more, but we wanted to get more out. It just didn't go our way. So it's a pill to swallow, but.
Yeah, but now's the fun part where we get to hold their feet to the fire for voting for this nonsense. We got elections coming up, and now it's time to do the dirty work.
You bet.
Oh yeah, we got names, we got targets. It makes our job easy, honestly. Yeah. I mean, we will talk about wanting to at least get a roll call vote. Well, they just gave us a target list.
Amen.
Exactly. So,
well, all right, man. We'll let you get back to your hard work. Again, thank you for everything that you've done in this fight, and keep up the good work.
All right, appreciate it, boys. Talk soon.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, folks, that just about does it for our show. In summation, we are absolutely jazzed to add 2 new constitutional carry states to the roster, and we're pissed off and mad about it that we got betrayed by some Republican backstabbers who handed Joe Biden gun control on a silver platter. But mark my words, we will get the last laugh on this one. You can bet your ass.
You bet.
Tyler, tell them what they can do.
Again, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Win the t-shirt contest. Come on, that's an easy one. You should know it.
Uh-huh.
And don't forget to visit all the links down in the description. And you can use code TRB10 to get 10% off your order at gunrightsgear.com. So, thank you. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.